Hello, everybody, or should I say family people? Oh my goodness, it's going to be an exciting one today because I'm with someone that is so exciting. She's always full of energy, always having fun, always laughing. I wonder how she does it. I'm so glad to have you here today, Mrs. Tomike Adeoye. I pronounced it right,
Yes,
right?
you did. Every time people call me Mrs., I just feel like one old woman.
Almost every you don't.
I don't give the vibe of.
You don't. Yes.
As Annie says, Jesus, that's true. You have two children. I'm like,
did you know? I'm always surprised. I'm like, are you serious?
I'm glad because that's the aim. That's the goal. Like you're not supposed to look at me and say, this is just look at me. I'm a Gen Z, please.
Are you a Gen Z really?
I am. I'm not, but I am. My best friend used to say, you just used to struggle to enter their clique. Yes,
because I know
a Gen
somebody
Z.
said it before. Like, these are Gen Z favorites. I'm like, are you serious?
That's me. I'm Gen Z. Nobody's gonna know.
You actually look it, and you are so full of energy. It's one thing I love and admire about you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be your guest.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, so let's get to know a little bit about you. Where you grew up, what you studied in school, how you got to this level.
I actually grew up wanting to be a medical doctor because my father used to say, you will be a doctor, you'll be a doctor. And so I just felt like I wanted to be a medical doctor till we wrote JAM. And I realized, sister, you can be a medical doctor. And the truth was, before, like when I was in SS2, for some weird reason, I think I was watching CNN and Aisha Sese. I fell in love with Aisha Sese. And I just loved what she said. I'm Aisha Sese, and this is CNN. So I used to rehearse it a lot. And so at some point in, I think SS1 or SS2, I was like, I think I want to study mass communication instead. And I remember one of my friends in school, they're making just of me that, so we'll be watching you on NT at night with our children. But I'm like, NT is not the goal, please. And then when I told my mom about it, she was like, so all the textbooks that we've bought, all those biology textbooks used to be so expensive that time. The physics, chemistry, biology that you're almost at in SS3. What will happen? I was like, I don't know. She was like, better just continue with this, your original vision of sciences and finish to the end. Because if you want to start switching, I don't know how it's going to happen. And so I tried to follow through with it. And then I ended up studying microbiology in the University of Lagos. Not because I love microorganisms, but because I just said, let me follow that science dream to the end and then see what will happen. And so I got into uni, and in my second year, before I got into my second year, I remember one of my friends was telling me then that, there's a radio station on campus. I'm like, radio station? Really? Where is it? I was so excited and all of that. And then I went. Thankfully, our dad also helped me, get an audition, because I don't think they were even auditioning at that point. And so they told me to come to audition to see if I would even try and all of that. And I got there, I auditioned, and immediately they told me that I could come intern at the radio station. I was so excited. They did not pay me one kobo, but the joy in my heart going to that radio station, because it was literally me gaining experience absolutely free of charge. So for me, like, that meant the world. And that's why these days when I see people that say thank you, when I see people that say I cannot work for free, I cannot my dear, some of us worked for years absolutely free of charge, and we didn't do it like they are forcing us to.
You still put your heart.
We did it with so much joy. Like, my friends would be sleeping. I would wake up. Me that I love sleep. Like, I can oversleep when I have when I have things to do. But that radio station, never ever. Like, I would jump up as early as 5:30.
Wow.
What am I saying? I think 5 safe, because I had to be at the radio station for 6 a.m. Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So like, even when like people are still sleeping, I would jump up, have my bath, and go to the radio station that early on campus, because I had to be on radio before my classes. So classes usually started like 9-10 a.m. So I would literally start my day at the radio station. So for me, like, I was juggling it with so much joy, because it felt like a privilege for me to be able to do that. So I did not even see the stress. But now when I'm even thinking about it, because even on days when we're on holidays, I would be going to the radio station on certain days, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And I'm like, I suffer gone. but because no copper was coming out of it. But trust me, that for me was the great foundation that I needed, because from there I got a lot of referrals. I got a lot of people that would say, "Oh, this girl on this radio station." Like I became famous on campus to some extent, because like people used to hear me on
The
radio and all
radio.
of that. And from there, I actually got my first TV job via someone at the radio station.
You see?
So he had a friend that had a show on Silverbird, and so he connected me to the person. I
Yeah.
auditioned and I got the job. So it was even from
Wow.
radio that I transitioned to TV.
TV.
And so because of my experience, like when I was called to audition for another show, I had that one as evidence
CV.
that so like I graduated from school. So I think I did it for 3-4 years, the radio station, everything, working as a presenter on the radio station. I did it for like 3-4 years till I finished school. And that was when I now went into TV full time. So for me, it was me getting experience while in school. Because you know when you're done with school and like you want to go somewhere, and they say, "Oh, where's your CV? How many years of experience?" I built my experience with those free, as in those.
see?
It was so good for me, because that was a great foundation.
And I think that's where the whole fame thing started from.
Oh
Right?
yeah, actually,
In
and because
school.
towards the end, like my final year, I heard about, a friend of mine told me about the Moment Z competition. Ebony Life, they were trying to have a younger version of Moments. Moments is the older one that had
yeah,
Emmy,
yeah.
Toke, Bolanle. So they wanted a younger version. So they had like this show that they were auditioning for Moment Z, and it was my final year. You know, the crazy thing was, I literally, I think it was a week to my final year exams. And they said they were going to lodge us at Sheraton for, I think, a whole week. But like every day they'll be dropping people. So like if you don't meet up, they would, like if they put a certain competition and you are one of the people that didn't make it to the next round, you will go home. So I went there with the mind of I might go home earlier than planned,
Well,
and
yeah.
have time to prepare for my exam. And if I don't go, well and good, that's the goal, to make it to the end. And I literally had to rush my project, had to tell my supervisor that I'm going inside one house so for 1 week. So like it was crazy. Like it made me double up with work and know that my exams are approaching as well. Let me do everything I need to do before I go into the house. And thankfully I made it to the end. The funny thing was, I wasn't even, they were supposed to pick 3 people that would be on the couch. I wasn't one of the 3 that made it to the couch.
Yeah.
But they now created segments, because they said I seemed like I had so much experience and I was acting very mature, that they were going to create a celebrity tracker segment for me on the show, whereby like when they have events, I can always go interview celebs. Like I can handle that because of how mature I am. Like I was like, God's grace really spoke for me, because they should have sent me home that you are not young enough. But obviously I had the energy and all of that. So they created a segment for myself and 2 of my other friends on the show, and so it wasn't a waste of time at the end of the day. And for me, that was actually like the breaking point for me, because I began to host red carpets, and you know, hosting red carpets means you're meeting famous people, you're talking to famous people, and I love capturing moments, so I use that to my advantage. I you know, when I go for red carpet, I'll take you through the process. I would make videos, I'll post on my page. My stories will be filled with posts of the event. So even if you are not at that event, like one thing that actually also blew me up was when a famous event is happening, because I have access to the event. So I started hosting VVIP events on Ebony Life as well, as a result of being on Momenti.
Yeah.
So I had access to all, like the president's daughter is
Yeah.
getting married and
Yeah.
everything. So because I'm there, I would now make videos and give you access. So I used to call it my your VVIP access to
the event.
so and so wedding or
That's a
whatever it
creative
is.
way of doing it. So
Yeah.
you're not just doing your job. You're
Yes,
also
I'm
trying
also
to build your
exactly
brand with what you have.
Yeah,
There. That's creative.
So I mean,
yeah.
that was it, and that was how like the big break happened on social media before influencing came about and all of that. Yeah.
So what would you say is your big break?
My big break, I think that was it when I started hosting VVIP
VVIP,
events.
okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think that
Because
was one.
it
And-
felt to me like you just came out from nowhere, because I wasn't following
Yeah, I
you know,
know.
your story and everything. And
I
then the next
know.
thing I'm like, family people. Which
I think-
one is family people? And I think when I actually got to know of it was that I posted something on my page and I was like, oh, which brand ambassadors do you think is good enough to
Oh, wow.
carry out or do an advert for a brand that feels organic? And a lot of people were saying,
Oh
you. And I
wow!
was like, who is this person? That's when I now discovered you. Yes.
Oh yeah, actually. So like I started marketing for brands, and as at that time, influencing wasn't even really a thing the way it is right now. So we're like the first batch of of influencers per se. Because for me, it wasn't. I didn't set out to be a brand influencer. So like when I would go for events, obviously you had to dress up, makeup, and everything. You had to wear new dresses every time. So because I love taking pictures, I would always take pictures of my outfits and everything and post. And then I realized that the designers were selling out because I was wearing the outfits and posting it. So it was something that just came along the way. And so at some point, I think I called one of my friends and I was like, this clothes thing that I'm wearing, it's something that on a normal day, a designer will book a model and take pictures to do. But me, I've already done the makeup, I've done the hair, and I'm doing the photographer work by taking the pictures for you. Am I not supposed to be charging for this? And she was like, you better charge for it. So that because at the end of the day, it's almost the same thing. They're even giving her an audience as well. That's why I started charging for it. So the next person that called me after that one, hi, I would like to send you an outfit. I will send you my rate card. Oh, goodness. I can never forget my first rate card. It was 20K per outfit. And I mean, she paid. I was like, okay, come on. And so that was how it started. That's how I started influencing. And then COVID era came. So those of us already had experience with influencing. It just came easily to us. So it was like everybody's at home and there's no way for brands to reach their target audience. The only way is online, obviously. Billboards that are outside. Nobody's seeing looking at it. So we are literally your billboards. And so like I cashed out during COVID. I would not even lie because
are you serious?
Brands upon brands. Instagram live upon Instagram live.
But why do you think they were coming to you? Why do you think so?
Because they were seeing results. I mean, like I would post a brand and like I'm very transparent as well. Like when I post a brand and they sell out, like it's not even audio selling out. I don't even have to tell designer, come and tell me that you sold out. Like it was happening very organically. I feel like that's one thing that worked for me as well. And I know it's not even by my power because I don't think it's anything special.
Because I was going to ask you that, what do you think you do that make you sell organically?
Now God's grace, because it's only God's grace. I know I put in the work as well. Like I try as much as possible to sell it in a very natural way, and that's one of the reasons why I make sure that the brands that I market are brands that I genuinely love. When I love something, the way I sell, even you will know that this girl true. Like I don't know how to say this tea is the best tea in the world. It's not in me. But if I taste it, I'm like guys, this tea like it will come naturally because I genuinely like it. So that's why like I filter brands that I work with. Like I don't just work with brands for money's sake. Because to be honest, money will finish. They will send you the money. The one problem will be waiting for that money. By the time the money comes, Otilo. So I would rather like have brands that I genuinely love and I can market. Like for example, when I was made Muslim brand ambassador, for me that was a major this thing for me because I did not even have so many followers then. Maybe 100 and something. I can't remember. Yeah, like I didn't have so many followers, but they also wanted someone that had influence that wasn't about the numbers or the millions of followers. It was the influence at the end of the day. And like for me, it was an honor because I was like, for these people to look at it. I was very young, this small girl, and just say, make me brand ambassador. And I loved Maltina because I remember I did my internship thanks to my mother-in-law. Like I did my internship at Nigerian breweries, and so they used to give us Maltina. I think at the beginning or at the end of every month, they used to give us any of their drinks, either Pharaohs and some of their other drinks. I remember always hustling for Maltina because I love so. I always, please, can I have Maltina? And I know that they didn't give us Maltina every time. Like even when we go to the restaurant for lunch, like you will not really see Maltina on display. Like it was like premium. So every time I saw Maltina, I was always so excited. I would take pictures, and like I remember when I was made brand ambassador, I literally told the story back to years ago when I interned there and all of that. So I genuinely loved Maltina. So it was like, hey, this Maltina that I've loved growing up. I had pictures growing up of me taking Maltina. So I was like, God is so good. So for me, because I also market it organically, and I feel like people can see through try to be fake. I mean, we're not stupid. We know this. We know that it's for the money. But for me, like it's much more than the money. It's also about the fact that I like it and I use it and I want my audience to use it. So
I think that's one of the things we notice, because sometimes you might not know, but we see it.
Yeah, true.
The authenticity, and that's one of the things people were saying on my page too. That she's very authentic, and they trust you. Like when you say buy this, they'll be like, oh no, for her to say it is actually good. So I think it is, and for me, it's also a huge responsibility because that's why I don't just market any brand, because if anything goes wrong, like of course,
have spent. It's so funny how there was one company I was going to work with, and it took so long because I kept dragging, And I couldn't even, it was a very good deal. I couldn't place it. I couldn't say this is why my spirit is saying no. But that's another thing. Like I'm very big on my Father in heaven. Like I know that He loves His children, and if you just align with Him, like your life will go much more better than it will if you are trying to do things on your own. If you just follow His timetable. So like I was just feeling somehow about it. I remember my husband was telling me, "Have you done due diligence on this?" I was like, "Oh, it's a very credible brand and all of that." I mean, from what I've seen, but like, okay, carry on with the work now. I was just dragging my feet for months. So this thing took over 6 months, and later I got on a call with them, and I was like, I'm so sorry that I'm unable to work with your brand at the moment. And then they were like, oh, please let us know what exactly is wrong, what's the issue. I said, if I tell you the issue, it might not even make sense to you, because the issue is that my spirit is not just aligning with it, and I don't know why. I cannot place it. I don't, but my spirit doesn't just agree with it. And if I don't feel comfortable with it, I feel like if I go into it, I will see shege, that God will tell me that, remember that your spirit was not aligning with it initially. So I just, that as I look at your ear now, I remember that I'm not wearing earrings. I just look at your ears, I'm like, oh, I came here without earrings and necklace. Okay, back to the gist. Back to the gist. Okay. So I was just like, my spirit is not just aligning. Yeah, and I was like, I'm so sorry that, because even I know that it sounds very unprofessional to be saying my spirit does not align, but it is what it is. And they said no problem. I said, if anything changes, like I'll reach out to you people later. And that was how I didn't work with that brand though. Was it like 2 weeks later? I heard, I think one girl, I saw someone at an event. I was like, these people, hey, if you see the shege that my eyes saw, we are in court at the moment though. I'm like, hey! Just me, shell. I was like, what? I told my mom, I said, baby, come and hear what I heard, oh, hey? I'm like, come on, this place. God is not man that He should lie indeed. So, I mean, that's one of the things that's worked for me in this journey as well, just listening to God. I'm not always perfect. I don't know it all the time. It's not as if I'm the best person out there. But I know that with God's spirit, and another thing I've realized is you can't serve God and fail. Like, there's something that comes with serving God. There is a certain grace that you would enjoy from serving God. Like, I can't even explain it so, but there's just that covering of, this is my own. Like, no matter how bad, even if person messes up, I will clean up the mess for the person. So, like, that's why I don't joke with God, and even my community. Like, every time I try to put out, like, my experiences, like, they're little experiences, and that's another thing about being authentic. Like, for example, one of my bracelets, in misplaced, it got missing in Kaduna. I got to Lagos and realized that I didn't find the bracelet again. I was so sad because my husband bought that bracelet for me, and it was tied to his particular thing. So I was like, this bracelet, Otilo. And then someone just said I should pray about it. I see little things really, and I prayed to God, I said, God, please, I want to find this bracelet. Even when I was praying, my mind was telling me that where you won't find out. Do you want to travel back to Kaduna, or do you want to? But like, you will not believe that the next morning I woke up and something just said, I think it was like 2 or 3 days after, something said I should call them at the hotel to help me check the car park. I remember that when I was going into the car, there was one family member that saw me, and she hugged me, and then she pulled me. And I said, maybe when she pulled me is when that bracelet fell off. Down. And they should check the car park. Lo and behold, I called, I looked for their number online. I called the hotel reception. I'm looking for my bracelet. Check the room. Said they didn't say, please, they should help me check the car park. They found it too. in the old car park. For it, that's when I knew that God is indeed great. Like, just ask Him. And so I just ask Him, even the smallest things. And I shared that story with my community. I don't know, people tapped into it. There was one lady that said, I think her husband's card or something, she was abroad, that she was looking for it, and she just remembered the testimony, and she kept telling him. Like, I received so many testimonies after that. As a result of me sharing that one, it gave them faith that if she can find bracelets, then I can find it. And like, there were so many testimonies, down to money, down to people that lost money, like a whole lot. I'm like, my life at the end of the day is also supposed to be a channel for people to see God's blessings. And I feel like my platform, even this influence that God has given me, yes, I might be using it for other things, but I remember that so many people have told me that this channel is for God at the end of the day. Like, God gave you this platform for a reason. So that's why every time when I'm getting carried away, I always carry my year, 2 years, and remind myself that, hello, ma, now God give you this platform. And it is for Him at the end of the day. I'm not perfect. I'm not the holiest person. But at least I will try my own best to continue to push that narrative of the gospel. The special grace of God. And I brought the narrative to your podcast.
Yes, I'm glad. Because I was going to go to your community as well, because I see that apart from all the other stuff you do, I know you're an actor, you host events.
Yeah.
Something you do so well is carry your community along.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, is it something that you learned or it just came to you naturally, how to build a community online?
I think it's as a result of the kind of person I am. I'm a very endearing person. Like, I'm very sweet. I'm a very sweet girl.
Go ahead and blow your trumpet, baby.
I'm a very sweet girl. Like, I just love sweet people. Like, I'm also very kind. Like, I care about people. Like, even down to a security man. Like, it's really not about your status. Like, I care genuinely for people, and it's not even because of the cameras or anything. Like, even behind the cameras. And I feel like that's one thing that translated into my followers as well, because when I started building a community, my captions would be like, I'm telling stories to them. And so I think it was when I was calling them family members, because actually I felt very awkward having to come and say my fans. Just like, who's this one? Who's this Tokolo? Where did she see fans? Like, for me, because I'm not aware of my status, and I feel like that's also a good thing that God has given to me, because it just keeps me humble. It keeps me sane. I'm not like, I've made it to have arrived. I just feel like that girl that I was in uni, I still feel the same way. And so it kind of translates to the way I talk to my audience and all of that. I just feel like we are one big happy family where we gist and all of that. And because of how, like, I carry them along with my journey as well. Some of them have followed me right from uni. Like, I saw two of them yesterday where they were like, that's she feels like she has known me before. Like, she feels like we've met before. That it doesn't feel like this is the first time we are meeting. That and maybe it's also because, like, they were there when they proposed to her. We were there when she was like, we were there. And then we had one child, one baby. We're like, we are pregnant. And after again, 2 children. We're like, we follow through with the pregnancy and all that. I feel like it's also because, like, I tell my stories in the little way I can. I share whatever it is that I'm comfortable sharing, and so they feel like they are a part of my life, a big part of my life. So I know that that's what has also translated into, like, building a community of people that actually root for me. Like, that's why when I put out brands, they see it as their duty to, go and push those brands, go and sell out those brands and all of that. So, and for me, that's one of my greatest blessings, really.
That's interesting. And when I saw you hosting, I was actually also impressed. So it's not just about, I want to do it. You seem to also have, like, a talent and a flair for it.
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
I used to host events in school as well.
Great.
Final year week and all of that. I think I was even PR, whatever, for my department in my final year. So, yeah,
So how do you juggle everything together? There is hosting, there is Nollywood, there is family, there is the community. How do you do it?
My sister, it's madness. It is madness. Like, I can't even say I juggle it excellently, because there are some days when, for the past 3 days, it's been chaotic. Like, I remember 2 nights ago, I did not even sleep at all. And when I say I did not sleep, I did not close my eyes, because I finished my hair around 2 a.m. I got home around past 2, I think, and I did not even bother sleeping because I didn't want to oversleep. So I just stayed awake, got ready for the next day, and I left the house 5 o'clock the next day. So, like, 24 hours, I had not closed my eyes. I had another shoot the next day, which was yesterday, and straight to my makeup. The way I was sleeping, my sister, during the makeup session. And so, in moments like that, I probably don't even get to see my husband and my kids. I just see them when they're sleeping, because I came in late. I left early before they woke up. So, but I'm just grateful to God that I have a beautiful support system. I mean, my husband is so understanding, because I think yesterday someone was asking me about how do I juggle it all, being a wife and everything, that I'm not always around. I said, God has blessed me with bone of my own bone, because my husband is not a person that say, I want fresh food, I want this. And that's why I was like, that is it's such a blessing, and it's so easy when you are compatible, like when people complement each other. Because yes, another person might actually like fresh food, which is okay. It's not a crime that he likes it, and maybe that's how he grew up and he wants it in his marriage. That kind of person, if he jam me, ah, you go chop. So like that's why it's also very important to not force things and find somebody that it won't
Yeah.
always be perfect,
Of
obviously.
course, of
But
course.
at least to some extent, your life will be easy. Because if my husband was one that would insist on my wife must cook for me, I must wake up to breakfast. It's okay to want it because there's some things I want in my marriage as well. There's some things my husband wants in marriage. But thankfully, things he wants are things that I can easily do, or like
Yeah.
it's not I don't have to break myself to have to do
do
it.
it.
So like if I don't cook at times, at times when we want to say don't worry, I'll sort myself out. Like he also likes cooking as well, so it's just so easy. There's no pressure on me, or I don't start feeling sad because you know that when you are trying to make something happen and you're trying to force it, there's a certain unhappiness that comes with it because you'll be trying so hard. Like for example, see when I got home 1 a.m. this morning, because I got to my around past
yeah,
1, that
yeah.
I'll be trying to enter kitchen to make sure that his breakfast is ready, like because God has blessed me and like my husband is such an amazing man. Like is a very good man. Like even with the kids, like the way he plays with them and all of that, like no, my husband is so amazing. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I can literally thrive and I can soar
Yes.
like this. Like I
Yeah.
will not receive an opportunity and feel like I need to call my husband first and hear what my husband thinks about it. I'm sorry if my husband says no, no is no. Yeah, so definitely it's
Of
yeah,
course.
it's the authority over me. But it doesn't make me feel like I must double check everything with him. Like he trusts me and also leaves me to soar as well. So I feel like that's one of the things that has not limited me in my career because at the end of the day, the people around me are so supportive. Like if I say I want to do this, yes, they might say, Isep might say, baby, don't you think that you should not, at times I might be strong-headed and say, I believe that it is like this and all, but I also go back and say, what is it that they are seeing that I'm not seeing? So for me, I feel like that's one thing that has also helped me juggle it well. Like I don't have people that have crazy expectations. My mother might call me now. My phone is even on silent as I'm here. She might call me, I might not pick the call. In short, I might not remember to return the call because as I'm leaving here now, I'm rushing for another thing and all of
Yeah.
that. But they already understand that this girl, there's a whole lot of craziness happening and she's trying to do a whole lot. So they've cut me some slack to some extent, as well as my friends. I'm not the best friend. Like I'm a good friend though, but in terms of you are trying to reach me, you will try you because he's so crazy. But they
Yeah.
understand and I really appreciate that and I try not to take that for granted at times. So like my support system is just the best support system anybody can have. My best friend, my mom, my brother. I'm just blessed, my sister.
And I
can't
think you should
complain.
explain to people how you came to have that support system. You know why? Because if you're a creative like you are now, you need time to think.
You do.
You understand? And even as you're juggling, doing all of these things, if you don't have a support system, like you said, you probably would have broken down.
I would have.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, so I would
and
have.
from the kind of person you are, it will show. Even
Yes.
when you're working with brands,
Exactly.
it will
It
show.
will reflect. I
It
say
will
you will see
reflect.
it.
Yes.
It will show.
So how did you manage to get this kind of support system around you?
One, God blessed me. I feel like my mom has always been my greatest support system growing up. Like my mom is involved in every part of my life. My mom is on the mountain praying for me, like fasting and praying whenever something is going sideways or she's not sure of something or she's worried about something. Like, and I know that her prayers have actually held me up to this point. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that. And then my husband as well. Like I remember, like back in school, there was when I was on Jennifer's Diary. My husband actually came. I had what do you call it? I had an exam, and right after my exam, I had to be on Auntie Funke Akindele's set.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I was waiting for Uber, I was already late. So in short, what I did was because I was so late. So my plan was I actually went to do my makeup before my exam, so that my makeup would be done by the time I finish my exam and I'm rushing to set. But my question was, this Uber can go and mess me up. There might be no Uber, it might be scarce and I'll be stranded. My husband said, don't worry, we're dating that time. I will be waiting for you outside after the exam. Because you can't even take your phone into the exam hall. But so I kept my phone in the hostel, but he was waiting for me. Like that's the greatest support that anybody
system,
can ask for. So that time, I think it was year 3 or so, he was waiting for me. He picked, as soon as I finished the exam, he picked me up and took me to the island. Even there were times when I had shows in Orchard Road after second toll gate. He took me all the way there. Like he was so supportive. Like when we met actually, and that was the beginning of my career as well. I remember one audition that I had in Ikotun. That was my second TV show. Ikotun far away.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I had I had gone to on my own. As in my husband, and I think I had to be there for like 7 a.m. or something. My husband came to pick me. Was it around 4 or 5? Just so that we would beat the traffic and all of that. He literally stayed in the car till I auditioned and took me home. Like There's no greater support. I don't even think I've done anything exceptionally to have deserved that kind of support. I know that God blessed me with it, and I also know that I'm a good person. And I mean, what you give, whatever you
Yeah.
sow, you will
You
reap.
reap,
Yes. So
yes.
I mean, I've sown some good seeds as well, and I believe that I'm reaping them today.
That's amazing. Since we started this show, I don't think I've ever asked any guest about their family. Yeah, yes, I never did. You know why? Because we're always focused on the work, creativity, and everything. But with you, it just shows that what your brand is. And when you say family people, you actually mean it.
Yeah, I do.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
are here and you can't stop talking about your family, both the immediate and the community, and that's amazing. So it just shows really that she's authentic, and that's why she's thriving. That's why she's growing hard, and probably that's why you have the best support system as well, because you're authentic, and then you know the kind of people you want in your space.
Yeah.
So really, really kudos to you.
Thank
but
you.
has there been any challenges so far?
I think the challenges have been business wise, having to juggle businesses, and because I want to do a whole lot. And like I want to do a whole lot. As I'm ending this project, we're in the middle of another project where like there's no rest. So for me, that's one of the most challenging things, because I'm trying to do so much. My head feels so full at times that it's like, as I'm thinking of how to end this one, another thing just pops up. Like I want to do a whole lot. I think that's one of my greatest challenges, having to like balance it off and know that, and I believe that that's where my management comes in. Like my manager so far it's been amazing. Like you say, yeah, I know you want to do that. Wait, we get there, we will do it. And I feel like that just also helps me just calm down on that one and focus on this one. So yeah, I think that's, for me, that's been the challenge. Even like having my kids, actually, it was also a challenge. I would not even really call it a challenge, but it was challenging, because I remember my daughter, my first pregnancy, for 3 months I was useless. Like this is how I will be looking up to the ceiling in my room. Like if you see me safe, you will not talk to me, because you just like, let me just leave out now. Or like I was throwing up, I was so sick and all of that. But I was always praying to God that I wanted to be able to work during my pregnancy, and I thank God I was able to, because I began to fly in my second trimester. I was working with a company then, and like they had a lot of events abroad that I was covering. So like from LA to Atlanta, from Atlanta to like it was crazy. But I thank God for strength that I was able to push through. And even when I had my daughter, like it was hard for me to even get myself for a whole year, but it wasn't reflecting online. But I was going through a lot, like mentally, physically, like I was going through a whole lot. And I was kind of mom that I wanted to do everything by myself. I want to be the one to wash the bottles, because when you wash the bottles, you're supposed to hear that clunk, clunk, clunk. If I don't hear you didn't wash it well, I'm sorry. So I was that kind of mom. But my second child, I calmed down, because I knew that
you can't do everything.
I don't want to kill myself. And I also wanted to like build as well. I mean, in terms of my career and all of that. So I tried to like trust people, and I bless God for the helps that He gave me. Their nannies are the best. They're so amazing. In short, they're part of the family now. They're their aunties. Like it's so beautiful. And I'm just like, thank God, at least I've scaled through that. Childhood.
You said you scaled through that, so that means you're done with the childbearing. You have
my
to.
sister, if you see me tomorrow now, maybe when you call me for your next season, I feel come like this. I feel come pregnant too. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I always wanted 4 kids. I always said growing up that I wanted 4 kids. Yeah. My sister, after this second child, we this our era in this economy
and everything.
I think I'm all right too. I would have loved a big family, but I don't know, because I love babies so much. I love that baby stage so much, and right now I'm beginning to miss it, because this is my son. You don't they turn chairman for house, don't they turn old man for house, and I feel like I'm missing that. But I don't miss him. I miss him, but I don't miss him. I don't know, my sister. I want more, but the stress of carrying it. Let God's will be done. No, I don't know.
That's cool. I'm very happy, because I think you're going to be like a strong role model for a lot of women out there who are thinking like, I want to be able to do so much and still raise a family, and I do not want anyone to suffer.
Yes,
actually. Yeah. So what's the secret?
The secret
because
the secret is it's not easy. Some will suffer at times. So, for example, see the days that I don't even see my kids. Like I go home, they're sleeping, or I'm leaving before they wake up. But it's suffering the family aspect that period. But I always make up for it. When it's family time, it's family time. For example, this morning when I woke up, because I knew I don't see them for 2 days, I still try to like create memories with them, like I put one inside paper bag, put the second one inside paper bag, was playing with them in the paper bag. At least for a few minutes, like even if it's 5 minutes, it's something like they would remember it and they'll be happy that, oh, I saw mommy. And I try to like spend time with them. Like when I'm with them, I try to spend time with them, like play all I can and all of that. So, and then when I'm at work, I'm also at work. Like nobody should distract me. Carry these children downstairs now. I'm at work. It's time to work. So I try as much as possible to also live in the moment, and I try to also capture moments that I would go back. Like I can be driving now and I can be in the car on my way to another place now and I'm just watching videos of them or calling them or something. So yeah, I try to live in the moment. It's not easy. At times one will suffer for the other, but the good thing is you always make it up to them, because at the end of the day, you can't live your life for them. That's one thing that I always stood by. As much as I love my kids, I don't want them to grow up and I feel like, oh, I didn't accomplish this because I had a child. No, I will accomplish it too, and I will have that child.
And that child will be great.
Yes, and that child will be great. That child will not feel like my mother neglected me. I will have everything, because why not? God says with God all things are possible.
Yeah, that's just the right outlook. If you have the right outlook, the right mindset, God will just come through for you. I think so.
Yeah.
So far, your major movies, which ones?
Ajosekwa was my first lead character. To be honest,
Do you select your roles?
I do. I look the scripts first and I do, but I mean I also don't like acting so much, because acting is very time consuming.
Yes,
like,
it is.
by the end of the day it's always worth it, but I can because a lot of people are involved, and I feel like it gives me so much anxiety, because knowing that, oh, you cannot not show up, like people are on set, like 25 people are on set already. Your character was in that scene, but if it's me and maybe it's one advert I need to shoot, I can wake up this morning now and come every, hello Isiaga, we are not shooting again today, don't bother coming. Like I can always do that, and I can get up now and say, where are you? For example, the shoot I had yesterday was so last minute and it was very chaotic. I had just planned it the night before around 11 p.m. Got the venue for the shoot, reached out to people that were coming for the shoot. Like I knew that it was hard, but I was like, if I want it to happen, with the grace of God, it's gonna happen. So it was very spontaneous. So I'm also that kind of person. I can be spontaneous. And when I'm spontaneous, I don't want you to watch it and think it was spontaneous. I want you to watch it and think that they planned this thing for 1 year. So whatever I'm doing, I always ensure that the spirit of excellence is in it. So I'm very spontaneous. Like anything can happen at any time, but I must do it and it must be excellently done.
That's interesting. So I was talking about Nollywood, and you were about telling me your best role. Yes,
Ajosekwa. Yeah, that was my first lead role, to be honest. And there was a point in that movie that I said, God, I mean, you don't want me to do this movie, because it was clashing with a whole lot. I lost so much money. Like I lost millions of naira. The money I lost pained me. Like I was pained because the work was even so little, but the money was huge. But I could not go because I was on set. Like in the middle of that movie, I was like, God, I don't know if this movie is your will for me, or were you trying to tell me something? Are you trying to punish me for something? So like that's why I don't really take so much movie roles.
So which roles do you like? Which hats do you like wearing the most? Of all the things you do?
I think my content creator
hats.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I love creating content. Like it's very tasking, but like they make my brain they work. Like when I'm in the bathroom is where my ideas come, and I love creating content. Like I love marketing brands, and I think I love marketing SMEs the most, to be honest. Like my SMEs, they are my babies. Like I want to see you thrive. Like I want you to sell out. Like you need that money. Your business needs to be upskilled. Like I love marketing brands. Like there's a certain fulfillment that comes with it. And most times, even the free ones, I think the free jobs at times I get so much fulfillment. Like it's like somebody is genuinely grateful. Somebody feels like you made a change in their life as a result of my platform that God has given me. Like for me, that is the greatest thing.
That's cool. So that's amazing. You love working with brands and you love creating.
Yes, I do.
So what's your creative process like? Do you have people you call together to brainstorm on work, or you just get the brief and you be like, in the bathroom?
In that bathroom of my sister. Because even there are times when I get the brief and I'm like, hey God, I can't do this thing. Then I remember that commit it to God's hand. Because at times you feel somehow commit. Like even as much as I preach that memo of commit everything to God, there's some things that you just be like, why can't I do this thing on my own now? You now start stressing over, and then I just remember, no, you they shout commit everything to God's hand. At times I pray about the brief and then the idea comes, and at the end of the day I'm like, God, thank you. Like I can see your hand in it. So basically it's my bathroom is where my ideas come. When the shower is running like this, I'm just thinking here. My brain is like this in the shower. And so that's
so which brands would you say you love working with the most? Oh, you just
my
said
multi.
SMEs, but I know
Oh yeah,
I mean in
SMEs.
terms of calling names.
In terms of calling names, Google, YouTube, Maltina, Morning Fresh. That Google.
Why?
I don't play with them. Oh.
Why?
I don't play with them. Oh.
From the way you're going, I know it has to do with
my
the
sister. And it's not even in our currency. My sister. Oh my goodness! Like I love. Aside even the that we said, they don't stress me. I love brands that don't stress me because I think the agency is abroad, so like it's not Nigeria brands that will say I need an arm and a leg, and then you jump out into that scene, and I want to see this thing come out, and they just send you the brief and just leave you to do your thing. I remember one brand that I worked with from I think Paris. They reached out, and when I even saw this thing, initially I thought it was a scam. But I ended up, so when they now sent me the brief, I was like, okay, so a video post, or what do you say? They say it can be a picture post, anything you want. I say, hey,
wow.
for this amount. They say anything you want, and I'm like, they don't stress creatives out of it, because when every time a brand abroad reaches out, they don't stress me. They are not all about jump out into that scene, put it on slow mo, put it on, like they are very easy going. They don't stress me. So even when they now see results, I remember the first campaign I did for Google, like my head was working like a calculator, and they were like, it's not that deep, like it's not, but I was like, you people must see this advert and say that, and I did, and like I prayed so much about it. You see, when that advert came out, the first video that I did for them, when it came out, like they actually sent me an email. At the end of the campaign, they sent me an email saying that, well done. Because we had this link that you had to put in your bio for people to click on, but I took it personal. Like even when people comment on my comment section, I can't find the link. I will say, I will send it to you personally. I will enter their DM. I will send it. Like I was so passionate about the project, and I was like, God, these people must see results, because also they chased me so much. I think it was for months. Like they were trying to reach me. I didn't respond to them on time. I was in the middle of a whole lot and all of that. But the lady was like, Tomike, we are unable to proceed because we are not answering, and the client has said that Tomike must be on this project. I say, hey, I feel like that puts me under some certain pressure that these people that for this long they say they will wait for her. God, please let them see why they waited before they not say, so why were you waiting for her? But you see the email they sent me, they were like, because it was a global campaign, like they had people, other influencers around the world, and they said like when they like put together the results, like I had 67.65% in the overall this thing. Like imagine everybody, my own alone, 67 points.
That's amazing. I'd like to see the video. Maybe you send it to me later.
I'll send it to you, my sister. I'll show you. You should. I think when I posted the email, and I was just like, God, I was so grateful to God. I was grateful to my community, because I always come back to thank them as well, because I'm like, if you guys don't let me influence you, like these things will not convert at the end of the day. Like, I'm going to print this thing. Guess what? My family member printed it for me. They framed it for me. It's in my closet like this. Every morning I see it in my closet, sitting out there. It's like a testament that God is good.
But you mentioned something that I think we should touch a bit on. You said something about foreign brands don't stress as much as Nigerian brands.
They don't stress,
and they still get results.
Yes,
so why do you think Nigerian brands stress?
My sister, we are who we are. We are who we are. I think that's what makes us stand out. We always put in energy into everything. When we are driving, when we are honing, like we are just, and that's why Lagos is a busy state, because the hustle on the streets of Lagos. So I feel like that also translates into they just feel like it must always be gay, it must always be gym. And
it doesn't necessarily have to. It just has to be creative.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. And they trust us, like based on experience, the brands abroad trust us more than like the
Nigerian brands.
You're coming to meet me, you should trust me. Like that's why at times when they say, there was one brand that that reached out, was it 2 months ago, and then the lady was like, okay, so please can you send me videos? That one is already a red flag. So if you ask me to send you videos of what I've done, you don't know me before you came, no problem. You've not done your research. We'll be humble. I sent her links of my this thing. She came back and said, so the client is saying they are not sure you'll be able to handle this kind of this thing. Do you have videos that show this kind of this thing? At that point I say, my sister, God's blessings, they stress me. The one way before me, go stress me. I say, see, my dear sister, if they are not convinced, they should not worry, they should be going. Even me, I'm okay. It's not their job that will change my life. Like, God has already blessed you and he will keep blessing me. So if this one will stress me, that means that God knows that it's not for me. That's it. I don't have anything to say to you again at this point. If you are not convinced, I say, don't worry, they can go. Even me, I'm not trying to prove myself. They say they can go. She say it's fine, she understands. They still came back after. My dear, at the end of the day, I've come to, like, and it also comes with a place of trusting God. Like, I know that I cannot be hungry. There's no how you will pay your tithes and see, because you are putting food in God's house, there's no how you will lack. Hungry. Like, even if I'm reaching my last kobo, I know that something must show up, something must happen, somebody must reach out. So I feel like that confidence, like we make our boasting in the Lord God, like. Because you boast in God, there's no how that because the brand is not saying this it means it's not for me. Yes, it might be a very good deal, or it might be something that I will say, God, I pray I will get this, but if I don't get it, Koburu, we move on to the next. I know that the next one will come. God will bring them. Yeah. So
it's crazy. It's good that you're saying these things, and I hope Nigerian brands would learn sometimes when you come to content creators. Just trust them and allow them to speak to their audience the way they know how to speak to their audience.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why you are coming to them, except maybe it's for something, maybe you have a brand campaign and you want them to do certain things, but when it comes to content creation,
honesty. And I remember there was one brand that, like, years back, I think I was pregnant with my first child then, so they reached out to do an advert, and I was even heavily pregnant, but I still found a way to infuse it into the script. I did a throwback. So I think I started with me. I was backing the camera, me in my me young, not thinking about my future. It had something to do with the brand. Yeah. So I was holding a wine glass. I backed the camera so that my tummy won't show. And then I now did a 360 when my future has come. Heavily pregnant. Blah, blah, blah. So it was very creative. When I sent them this video, in my life, no brand has ever given me that kind of feedback. They said it was so childish. They did not see that message. I can never forget that message. I woke up that morning, pregnant woman. I'm seeing that kind of message from a brand that it does not align with this thing. You know what I did? What? I prayed. I said, God, they must eat their words. I prayed so much. Like, when I was praying that God, this kind of video that I'm so excited to even give it to my audience because I know how they'll receive it.
Yeah, because you understand your audience.
They say I should reshoot. I say, me? I say, never in my life have I had to reshoot an advert. I say, your own, it will not be the first. I say, I don't reshoot. I say, either they take it or they go. Because one thing I do at times is I don't collect money before I work because I don't like pressure. I want to be able to say I'm not doing, come and be going. So I was like, they should not worry, they should be going. And then they now came back and said, because I trust my audience, the video is for my audience at the end of the day. And I'm very sure that it will make impact. My sister, the morning I posted that video, they said I can go ahead and post it, no problem. The prayer, the way I discovered as the post they upload, when I uploaded, did you know that 90% of the comments were about how creative the video is, how like it was out of the box, like how they were so impressed with it. I'm running to this place to go and do this now because of this video. And so really the comment it was just as if my audience knew that their comments needed to fire back on the criticism that the client had given. Like, because the comments were so, like, it was as if I told them that you people, this video I'm about to post, you must talk like this. Like, one would think, and that's why I'm so grateful for my audience. When I saw the comments, you will not believe the message that the brand sent to me the next day. I'm very sorry. As brands, we tend to overstep at times because we are trying to protect.
But they're so nice to have done that, though.
It's nice. Not good. Now fire of God don't burn them. Say, this girl, you must go back and eat your words because that's the prayer that she prayed to me. They did, though. I was like, God, this is how you work. Like, I'm like, that's why I know that with God, you can never fail. Like, God never fails, my sister.
It's so interesting. I'm so glad you shared. Thank you so much for coming. I don't know do you guys have any questions? You guys are just listening. Any questions for our family member?
They call me Olori. So because I call them family member, they call Olori means the head of family. So they gave me Olori.
I see. But what are your plans for the future, though?
Plans for the future? Oh yeah, I'm currently working on my own show. Like for years, I've been wanting to do a show, but the perfectionist in me had been holding me back. But like I finally got an idea that I really loved, so I decided to go with that one first, and I'm shooting it at the moment. It's called Match Made by Tomike. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to share it because it's gonna be so good. Like it's already good. It's already great. it, and God has put His blessings on it already. So I cannot wait to share with my community. Yeah, there's a whole lot in the pipeline. I mean, and we have Party with Olori coming up in November again, by special grace of God. Like
The last
there's a
one
whole
was
lot.
very amazing.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. I mean, you people supported us. Thank you. So yeah, I can't wait for this year's edition as well. Yeah.
Great. So, what do you think about collaboration? Because I see you have a lot of celebrity friends. Is it something that you were strategic about, or it just happened?
It just happened because most times
Okay.
we meet on the red carpet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So we are stuck at events together. So it has to happen because you're probably at a movie premiere. There's a person beside you. That's the person you will just tweet now. So yeah, I mean, and from that we started creating content together because collaboration really is the new innovation, is the
Yes,
next level.
yes.
And so yeah, basically that's
I've seen
it.
you and Enioluwa a couple
Yeah.
of times MC together, and the
Oh, yeah.
chemistry is always
Yeah,
good.
it's so good. Like I love MCing with Annie. Like his energy, his Gen Z, and Annie has so much ginger. And I mean, we complement each other a lot. And it was later we found out that we're cousins. We're like,
It's a lie.
I promise you.
Ah?
It was his mom that told him. They now told my mom. She's like, oh my god, so that's his mom. Are you serious? We're related now. I'm like,
No wonder.
like no wonder.
Because the vibe you guys always create together is always fun to see.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a good thing. Like I said, when I saw you host the show, I was like, okay. Before I didn't know, but when I saw you, I was like, okay, she's not just, she has the talent
Yeah.
for it. She's good for it.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of who to host your show,
Thank
that
you.
Tomike is
Thank
here
you so
for you.
much.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We had a lot of fun today. We have a
did
gift
too.
for you too.
Aw.
Yes, courtesy of Viva detergent.
Aw, thank you, Viva. Oh,
Thank you so
That is
much for
huge.
coming. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
And
having
say
me.
hi to your family people for
I
us.
will.
Say hi to your kids and
I
your
will.
husband.
I
And
will.
you're so lucky, or you're so blessed.
I am actually.
Yes, you're
I
so
am.
blessed. And we pray that it continues that way
Amen.
forever and ever.
Amen. Oh, amen.
Yes,
Thank
and
you
if
so
you're
much.
watching, you can tap in on the blessings too.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And next time we're still going to come back again with another guest. Until then, please keep liking, keep sharing, and keep commenting, and keep trusting God, like Tomike said.
Yeah.
All right, so until next time, bye.
Bye.